so before we start with this trick, I just need to take a card here from the center of the pack. I think this one will do just fine. And for safekeeping, I'm just going to take the card and actually place it right here underneath the card box, and we're going to set those things right there on the table the entire time. So, if I had a spectator, I would go ahead and have them select any card in the entire deck. I can go ahead and actually dribble the cards, have them call out stop anywhere they want. Let's say they say stop right over here at this card, the 3 of spades. It's okay if I see it, doesn't really matter. And we're going to go ahead and take that 3 of spades, lose that card in the center of the pack so that you guys can actually see that the card is not on the top, not the ace of diamonds, and you guys can also see that the card is not on the bottom or near the bottom. In fact, it's actually not even near the bottom or anything like that. It's completely lost in the deck. So, you know how guys, or you know how magicians actually, they make tricks look really easy, or they make the tricks look absolutely amazing. Well, they claim it's magic, but it's actually all hypnosis. Before any trick starts, they actually secretly hypnotize the spectator to see whatever the magician wants the spectator to see. And I'll show you guys a really prime example of this with a triumph effect. So a triumph effect is where the spectator picks a card, 3 of spades, right? And afterwards, the magician actually shuffles the cards so that the cards are actually going to go face up into face down, and all just in crazy mixed up directions, just like this. So now you guys can see half the deck is going face up, just like this, and also half the deck is going face down. And all the magician has to do to fix this mess and find the spectator's card is have the spectator name their card. Let's say 3 of spades. They're going to shake the deck just like this and take a look at what's going to happen. The entire deck straightens out except for one card, the 3 of spades right over here. Now, of course, this trick looks absolutely amazing, but remember, I'm only hypnotizing you guys to see what I want you to see. Do you guys want to see what the deck actually looks like right now? This is all an illusion, because right now, I'm going to show you what the deck actually looks like from my point of view. Ready? I just removed the spell from your eyes, so now you guys can actually see what the deck looks like. This is what the deck actually looks like. The entire deck is completely mixed up, face up into face down. All I do is I make it look like the deck straightens out, and your card is the only one left face up. But in reality, no. The deck is really shuffled face up into face down. And look, you can see the 3 of spades, your selection is still there in the deck, and you guys can just see this entire huge mess of cards. Now, there is another reason why magicians use hypnosis for tricks. It's because they want to distract the spectator from the bigger picture of the entire trick. So I'm going to spread out the cards here one more time. And you guys should notice something a little bit strange now. If I was going to go through all these cards, if you were here, I would have you come up and take a really, really close look. But you guys can actually see that there is no 3 of spades. That's the 3 of clubs, but there is no 3 of spades in this entire deck. And if you guys think it's on the other side, I can go ahead, show you the other side of the deck. Everything is completely normal, but you guys can see that there really is no 3 of spades in this deck of cards. And that's because you guys are missing the bigger picture. Remember when I placed one card and one card only here, underneath the card box, since the beginning of the trick? I think you guys will be amazed if this was your selection, the 3 of spades. That is the card trick, guys, and now for the tutorial. Alright guys, so I really hope you enjoyed that trick. That was actually an original trick that I came up with recently. I really wanted to create a trick that was pretty visual, but also that you end up clean in the end. Everything completely checks out and everything is completely examinable by the spectator in the end of this trick. That's what I really love about this trick. And also, I did want to create a trick that really exercised my sleight of hand, and it will also definitely exercise your guys' sleight of hand. This trick is kind of advanced. I would definitely put it in the more advanced category. This is not a beginner card trick. This trick does have some pretty heavy sleights that are not really 100% every single time, especially that very first triumph spread when you show all the cards are facing the same direction. That is probably the hardest sleight, so you guys will definitely have to practice this trick a lot and get it down before you go out and perform this trick to people. So right now I'm going to teach you guys how to do the trick, and all you need is a deck of cards and the card box, so that yes, this trick is completely impromptu as well. That's also a plus for this trick. What I like to do is I start out by just taking a random card from the center. You can either look through the cards yourself or you can just do it randomly like this. It doesn't really matter, but just take out a card, place it here on the top, and leave it sort of sticking out. Don't square it up, just leave it sticking out like this. You're going to take the box here and you're going to place it on top of this card, and you're just going to hold on to this image for just a little bit. And now what you're going to do is it's going to appear that you're just squaring everything up and placing both the card and the box on the table, but in reality, what you're going to do is you're going to square up everything here, and you're going to just place the box on the table. There is no card. You actually left the card on top of the deck when you square it up. So when you square up the cards, you're just going to square it up and then just drop that card off on the deck as you take the box and put it on the table. So now that card that you just took is just a random card, and it's now on top of the deck, and now there's nothing underneath the box, and that's perfect. That's exactly what you want. So now you can hand the deck over to the spectator to shuffle up just a little bit. Doesn't really matter. But now what you're going to do is you're going to do what's called a bluff pass control. How I like to do this is I actually did it a little bit differently in the performance than how I would normally do it, just because I didn't have a spectator. But if I had a spectator, this is how I would actually do the bluff pass control. I would go ahead and have them call out stop anywhere, and they would take the card that they freely stopped at. It really is a free choice. So the 10 of hearts, perfect. And now what I like to do is I just push off a pinky break just like this, and I ask the spectator to call out stop anywhere again. So let's say they say stop right there, and I pretend to lift up that many cards, but all I'm doing is I'm actually taking the top card from the pinky break just like this, and all I'm doing is I'm lifting that card up only. I'm just letting that thumb break go, and I'm just lifting up this top card here. But if you bring your fingers over the width of the deck, it really does give the illusion that you're breaking off about half the deck, especially if you tilt your hand towards the spectator's eyes. They will not be able to tell how many cards you're holding onto, but it will seem like you're holding onto half the deck when they call out stop here. Boom, that really does look like half, but it really is just one card here. So now they're going to take the card and they're going to place it here. You just ask them to place the card in, and you're just going to take your hand here with this single card and slap it on top of the deck. That'll give the illusion that the card is getting lost in somewhere in the middle of the deck. So now this part is kind of a little bit awkward, but I had to come up with a way to get the card face up in the center of the deck. So how I did this was, it's sort of a weird thing, but what you do is you get ready for a double lift here, just like this. So you riffle up 2 cards and you get a break with 2 cards, just like this with your index finger. You're going to flip over both the cards, and you're going to do what's called the KM move. What that is you're going to take the cards and you're about to flip them over, right? But you don't actually flip them over. You're going to take them and you're going to actually take the deck here and flip it over on top of the cards. And your fingers here are going to clamp down on this card as you peel out this card with your finger here, just like this. So at full speed, you get a double lift ready. Boom. And then you go 1, 2, 3. Take that card. As you take this card out, flip it over on the table and say, look, your card is not here on the top. Their card is the 10 of hearts, not the 10 of diamonds, but that was just a coincidence. So you can see their card is not on top. And now their card is actually upside down. That's perfect. I just take the deck, place it on top of this card, and I say, also, your card is not on the bottom. Now I just proceed to take the entire deck up. I just pick it all up. And what I do now is I just spread out about a quarter of the cards, maybe like 10, 13, 15 cards. That's perfectly fine. Just take off some cards and show that their card is not near the bottom of the deck. You're going to break off a small portion of cards here, about a quarter of the deck, and you're going to cut them to the top. So you're going to take these cards, cut them to the top of the deck, just like this. This is the position that you're in. You have their card in the center of the deck, but not the exact center. It's a little bit in the upper portion of the pack face up, and that is exactly what you want to have. So now you're going to explain the process of, magicians using hypnosis. Of course, this is all just fake. Just go back to the performance to listen to my patter for how I described hypnosis and magicians. So you're going to explain all that stuff, and you're going to say, and I can explain this with a triumph effect. Now, of course, the spectator won't know what a triumph effect is, so you're going to explain what a triumph is as you do this part of the trick. So what you're going to do is you're going to break the cards roughly in half, but not really. You actually want to break the upper portion of the deck in a much bigger block than the lower portion. So as you guys can see, this is not equal. Like, this would be equal, right? But you want it to be a little bit unequal. You want it to be the upper portion here. You want this to be a little bit more cards than the lower portion. I think that would be perfect right there. So you guys can see this is much bigger than this half, and that's perfect. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take the lower portion here, or the smaller packet, and you're going to flip it over face up, just like this. And now what you're going to do is when you pharaoh, just make sure to pharaoh the cards so that the larger portion is completely enclosing that smaller portion, so that the smaller portion is not on the outsides. You want to make sure that the larger portion is on the both outsides of the deck. So you have some face down cards here, and then also the face down card here on the bottom as well. So what you're going to do now is you're going to push the cards down. I use my thumb and middle finger here to kind of bevel the cards diagonally. And then I use my index finger and my middle finger here to push the cards in, and then I get that corner sticking out just like this. That's exactly what you want. And now what I do is I kind of use my thumb here to push the face down cards over, and then I use my index finger here to kind of lever the face-up cards out of them, just like this. And now I kind of have this position where the cards are getting Pharaoh shuffled like sideways. That's kind of what you want it to look like. So now I have half the deck here is face up, and this is what you want to do now. So you're going to show the spectator that half the cards are face up, just like this. And now what you're going to do is you're going to turn the entire deck over like this, and you don't want to riffle all of these cards, because then you're going to expose that 10 of hearts face up. So what I do is I only riffle the lower portion, just like that. I only do like the last quarter of those cards, showing that they're all facing the same direction, because all these cards are actually not facing the same direction, except for one. Only one of them is facing the opposite direction, which is their selection. So keep in this position here. This is actually probably the hardest part, because it's not really 100% every time. It depends on the cards that you're using and the surface which you're spreading on. But what's going to be happening here is a very, very large variation of the side angle jog concealment move. I mean, the move itself really isn't hard, but it's just like the idea of doing the move is very, very scary for some magicians, because it really isn't 100%. Some cards could show, some cards could, bleed through and stuff like that. So I'm just going to move this out of the way really quickly, just so that I can do a decent spread. So I'm going to take my index finger here, and I'm going to spread out the cards just like this on the table, just from left to right, just like that. And I'm just going to do it press down firmly so that all the cards spread out evenly and nicely, but don't do it too firm so that the face-up cards show. I'll try and do my best to explain this, but I'm only going to be able to do this once. Make sure the face-down cards are like towards your left and the face-up cards are towards your right, because then if you spread out this way, then the cards will be concealed on your right. And I don't really do an arc spread either. I'm actually going to do a completely straight spread. That's also another tip. Don't do an arc spread, just do a straight spread. So now here I go. I'm going to spread out the cards just like this. And as you guys can see, boom. I think that was perfect, actually, because now you can see all the cards really do look face down, and now there's only one card face up in the deck, is the 10 of hearts. So you're going to leave this here for a moment. Leave this image in the spectator's mind. You want them to see all the cards are face down, except for one card, because in a moment, you're just going to square up the cards, snap your fingers, spread them out again, and the entire deck is going to be jumbled. Leave this image in their mind, and then explain all the hypnosis stuff. Say, this is not what you're actually seeing. This is all just like a spell I just put on your mind. And now what you're going to do is you're going to hold, make sure you hold this top card down with your fingers firmly. As you grab the bottom half of the deck, you're going to scoop this up just very, very cleanly. Just do it in line with the spread. Scoop it up very cleanly and square up the deck. And you can even leave this image in their mind. You can see all the cards are face down. When you square up the cards, just do it nice and carefully. And now snap your fingers again and just spread it out normally. And now the entire deck is completely messed up. And that's just like a whoa kind of moment for the spectator. So now the spectator will see all the cards here are mixed up just like this. And now what you're going to do is you're going to pick up the cards, and you're going to be spreading out the cards until you reach their selection, the 10 of hearts. Once you reach their selection, you're going to show it off for just a minute, and you're actually going to do a cull. So what you're going to do is you're going to cull this card to the bottom of the deck. I put my thumb here on the card right on top of it, and my fingers here on the 10 of hearts. So now I can move this card forward and the 10 of hearts back at the same time. Boom, I'm just going to move that back until it clears the spread, and I'm just going to continue to spread all these cards just like this. Continue to spread, and that card is going to ride on the bottom of the deck until you get to the bottom here. Now you're just going to place that card on the bottom of the deck as you square up the cards, and now their selection is on the bottom of the deck. So now what you're going to do is you're actually going to have to spread the deck out from right to left, just because you want the spectator to be able to see all the pips very clearly. Because if you're going to do a spread from left to right, all the pips from their point of view are going to be upside down, and it will be kind of hard for them to see. So what you have to do now is you have to spread the deck from right to left, but also what you have to do is you have to actually bevel the cards just like this in preparation for spreading the cards. Also what you have to do is take the bottom card here, which is their selection, and you're going to have to slide it to the left. Boom, just like that. When you slide this card to the left and spread out the cards, that card will be concealed underneath the spread. There's the card right there, but you guys can see it's not on the bottom of the deck anymore. So now the spectator can clearly see all the pips, and you're going to ask them to look for their card, and they're not going to be able to find it at all. You can go very, very clearly showing all the cards here. Just be kind of careful on the bottom, just in case that card sticks out a little bit. Just be very careful. Now what you're going to do now is you're just going to square up all the cards here, just kind of push them all together just like this. You say, oh, if you think your card's on the other side of the deck, you're going to flip the deck over. This is actually their card right here on top, and you're going to spread out all these cards to the spectator. You can even do it on the table. Doesn't even matter, because they will not be able to see their card, because their card is right here face down. So that's why they won't be able to see their card. And now it really does look like the card is missing from the deck. And now what you're going to do is bring this box back into attention. So they still think there's a card underneath there, but in reality there's actually nothing. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a one-handed top palm just like this. I use a one-handed top palm just like this. Then I kind of use my hand here to just kind of nicely square that card into my palm, because sometimes sometimes when I do the one-handed top palm, it doesn't nicely go into my palm, so I kind of have to use my fingers here to put that in nicely and square in my palm so that it goes into a nice comfortable position that I can palm it invisibly. So when I palm it off, I'm going to be pointing to the box here saying there's still a card here underneath the box, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the deck here down on the table. I can turn it over, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm going to put it down here and I'm palming this card. I'm just going to push the box out of the way and drop the card at the same time. So I'm going to push and just let go, release pressure, letting this card fall out of my hand. So I'm going to push and drop. And that will look like I'm just moving the box out of the way to show this card that was on the table the whole time. And now what I can do is I can spread out all the cards here, still showing this completely examinable mess. And now the card underneath the box impossibly was the 10 of hearts. Now, I've actually performed this trick for spectators before, and they actually think that there's still a card inside of the box. And the best part about this is there's actually nothing inside of the box, and everything at this point is completely examinable. They can examine the entire deck. Every card really is mixed face up into face down. It's really cool, like souvenir. If you really didn't care about this deck, you could even give this deck to the spectator for like a nice souvenir, showing that hypnosis is like a real thing or whatever. The card really was underneath the box the whole time. And yeah, this trick is completely examinable in the end. So guys, I really hope you like this original trick that I came up with, and I really hope you guys enjoy performing this trick to spectators after you guys have enough practice with this. I really hope you guys like the video, and see you guys next time. Bye.